Hello, guys. Welcome back. My name is Matt Stiles. I'll be your host for Seeing is Believing. And on today's episode, we will be going through, we'll be discussing space and science and all those good things. With me is the accountant. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hey, what's up, guys? My name is the accountant. Yeah, I've been good friends with Matt over here for a little while. My brother is the Corgi, who was on one of the recent episodes, and so that's how I got to meet Matt here. And every time we play games together, we just sit there and talk about stuff. So he's like, "You should come on my show," and I was like, "All right, we'll see how this goes." So
Yeah.
we'll see how this goes.
Well, we will see how this goes. And the first subject that we will be talking about will be black holes. And I know that's something that we've been talking about for the past week. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure you know the understanding of how a black hole is made. Freaking mass, matter.
Yeah, black holes are cool because how it's made basically is you take a star, right? The thing that we go around in circles with over and over and over again. And you're like, hey,
That's a
we go
star.
around the sun. That's a star, right? But all it is you just take a star that is like, it has a ridiculous mass to it, and just it gets so big that it collapses on itself
Yeah.
because the gravity is just so strong. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, they go supernova, they can create a black hole. Yeah, all it is just at the certain point the star dies and just creates a black hole. It's like, dude, just think of it, something so big and so massive, like we can't even fathom what this stuff is. It just blows itself up. It doesn't even blow up, it implodes on itself to this teeny tiny speck, and that's black hole.
Yes. And through my understanding, there are a lot of theories going around about black holes. And one of my favorite theories is that we are right now inside a black hole.
That'd be scary as
Yeah.
hell.
So, and I know people are like, well, if we're in a black hole, then this doesn't make sense, and this other thing doesn't make sense. I know that people say that if you do go into a black hole, it's like your whole body would get ripped away, because that's what they think is happening. Is the gravity inside a black hole is ginormous.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It would tear you apart. Like if you were to fall into a black hole, highly do not recommend doing this. Like don't swim back
Yeah,
into a black hole, please.
don't go into space and fall into a black hole, guys.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do. Like if you see one, keep your distance. Like put a little line in the void out there, whatever you got to do. Just don't go anywhere near it because you don't want to get sucked into that thing. Because it'll be really cool up until you get to the point where you're like, oh no, boom.
They disappear.
But that's kind of an interesting theory you bring up, like us inside a black hole. Like I I don't I could see that being a thing, but I'm trying to figure out how that would work too, because my favorite theory is just like everything gets sucked into some massive black hole, and then the Big Bang was just it releasing everything back. And this isn't the first time that this has happened to the universe as we know it, because we all know the Big Bang, and then
Yep.
everything into existence. But where'd that come from?
Yeah, and not the TV show, guys.
Yeah, that's the Big Bang theory.
Yes.
Keeper's my boy. I love him.
But yes.
Yeah, no, it's like the coolest. I think this is at least universe 2.0. That's my theory. Is we're sucked into a black hole, but then boom, everything was released again, and now we have the current universe we have.
Yeah, and then another theory that they do say is the whole black hole, the whole black part of the black hole, is empty space, and the actual black hole is like a small little particle in the middle.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean all it is, black hole, lots
Yeah.
of gravity, man. It's just a teeny tiny thing. Because so if you fell into a black hole, it would tear you apart, crush you, and do everything, and bring you right to that little thing. You become a part of that teeny tiny particle that's just a ridiculous amount of energy. Like it, I don't know. I try and think about it, and I'm thinking about it right now. I'm like, my head hurts. I'm like, I'm not a physicist. I'm an accountant, for crying out loud. The name the accountant, guys, comes because I'm actually an accountant in real life.
Yes.
Right? This is just something we're talking about because we have fun doing it and making our heads hurt in the process.
Yeah, I'm like, but if this works, how will that work? Doesn't make sense. You see that? Yeah. And then the theory that what's it called doesn't make sense is a black hole a wormhole too?
I don't think so. No. I think wormholes are something completely different. Um, I think that's just a theoretical, like, how do you get from point A to point B without doing the Warhammer 40K thing of let's
Yes.
go through hell, because that seems like a brilliant
Yeah.
idea. By the way, do you know how they actually do that with 40K? In that world, that universe, those
There.
warp drives are ridiculous.
Yeah, I was gonna
Like, have
say
you heard
because
the story behind that?
no, I haven't heard that story, and I was gonna say I think there's like how freaking I want to say which movie was it? Well, Star Wars in a sense has their own languages and they have their own like it makes sense, and I want to say that what's it called? Warhammer also has things that make sense, and like everything's scientific in that game. To a point, of course.
To a point. But
Yes.
dude, so those warp drives and like the Imperium starships look like massive cathedrals, right?
Yes.
And just floating through space, not really float, just flying through space. We'll call it that. So you get these guys, and they literally put these coffins, these big black coffins, strapped to their back, and then they drug them up on everything known to man. And the reason they do this is because those warp drives are so radioactive that by the time these coffin carriers get to the warp drive to replace it, or the warp core, whatever it's called, to replace it, they've basically been torn apart by the radiation. And that's how they do it. And then the tech priests use that warp core drive thingy to be able to go to hell and then pop up somewhere else in the like. If that's a wormhole, I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I am staying right here on Earth. Absolutely don't want anything to do with that. But yeah, back to your wormhole theory.
Yeah, wormhole. Yeah, what's it called? I really, well, I know how wormholes are supposed to work. I don't think that a black hole is a wormhole, just because, like they say, it sucks in light, and a wormhole wouldn't suck anything. It's just there.
Yeah, I mean a wormhole, because I think the idea, if I remember correctly, is you've got a black hole, and then like I guess on the other side would be a white hole. It'd just be the polar opposite, where all it does is spit,
Yeah.
energy out. It's like anti-gravity, I guess. So it's trying to get rid of everything that's inside there, right? But what you wind up having is you go in through the black hole and come out the white hole on the other side. Problem is how do you find
Where's the other
the
side?
black hole? where's the other side? And like, how do you control that? I think it's a cool concept, but I'm like, that's something that I'm gonna write in like the world I create, like 40K-esque when I get to that point.
But yeah,
I'm kind of curious to see like, you're right. There's so many theories that it's just like you can sit there watching all the videos you want, but I'm like, maybe we are in a black hole now. Like nothing makes sense.
so the only one experiment that I know that they've done with black holes is the time experiment, where the closer you are to the black hole, the less time passes.
Yeah.
Is it less time passes? I think it is. Yeah, less time passes, so it gets slower the closer you are to the black hole, and you would be able to see the person, because of course time is irrelevant. You would be able to see the person that's closest to the black hole slowing down, but to that person, he is going at the regular speed, like right now speed.
Yeah, just normal speed, and you're like in the black hole, like, wow, that's what the hell. That
Yeah.
would be, yeah. Time's ridiculous. I mean, because you've seen the sheet test, right? They
Yeah,
take a
the plane. I think it's called a plane.
yeah, we'll call it a sheet plant, whatever you want to call it. But so like rotate, like gravity pulls things towards it. Like you put something in the sheet, and then it makes it bow a little bit.
Yes.
But then if you put like a smaller object, it goes around it, right?
Yes.
And so what it does is, because it's messing with the fabric sheet, plane, it's like you get this time dilation almost, because it moves the plane to a different axes almost. And so like with a black hole, you're basically saying, what if this just went infinitely down and everything just got sucked into it but couldn't get back out? So at that point, you're like really fucking with time. Like time does not exist.
Yeah, and I think they said the bigger the black hole, the slower time would get too. So it
Okay,
all,
that makes me
yeah.
wonder because the center of like our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, is a big black hole.
Yes,
Because
that's a theory. That's a theory. That's it.
so if we got closer to the center of our universe, you know, would we be moving? Would our time, you know, be slower than if like where we are now? Because we're kind of like on the based off every like map of the Milky Way galaxy, which like I don't know how they figured that out. I don't even want to think about that. But like, would we be, you know, are we moving faster out here compared to what would be like inside the thingy, or
So
like closer to the big black hole
so
in the middle?
closer we would see everything slower, and everything
Hmm.
further away we would see a lot faster.
Got it.
Yeah,
Would we even notice that?
I think we would. For our perspective, we would. But if you're going away from the black hole, it would, on their perspective it would seem like we're going slower. And it's
Right.
all, yeah, and it's all perspective, and it's like they said, time is irrelevant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's just like if we were at that point, like if we were closer and we look, that's so weird to think about, man. Making my head hurt already. And
Yeah,
we're,
no.
like, 10 minutes into this thing.
Yeah, because the other thing is, I don't know how this works, but like going through space, they say that you're, if you were, say, to go into light speed, and come back, say you're just gonna do a what is it called, like a trip. When you come back, everybody's gonna be like 20, 30 years older than you when you come back, and you're gonna stay the same. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot what theory that is. That they tell
Yeah,
you that that's gonna happen. But
Yeah, it's like time dilate, whatever it's called. But yeah, you're like, why would you want to do that?
I want to stay young forever.
Yeah, but you're still aging at like, you know, you're still aging at your normal pace.
While
So
everybody
even though
else,
it's like
yeah, while
everyone
everybody
else just got, you're not living forever. You're living the same span to your own like
But are you?
whatever.
Are you?
Are you?
That's what I'm saying. Time is irrelevant.
Yeah, but it's just like, because your body's still gonna age on its
Yeah,
natural progression and cycle, right?
yeah. You'll still age at the cycle, but you'll be able to be there on Earth if the Earth is still alive for all these years if you keep traveling, and then you'll
Yeah,
be able to
because,
see
like-
you'll be able to you will be able to see all the technology that comes out.
Yeah, so you're basically like at the beginning of COVID, like, hey, I'm done. So you just start going light speed for a
Yeah.
little bit and come back 30 years in the future.
Yeah,
just
be like, yep.
"Is this any better?
I
Is
just
it any better right now?
I wanted to skip this chapter, you know.
Yeah, this chapter of humanity. Screw COVID, screw everything going on right now. I'm done. Let's jump 30 years in the future. I mean, would you do that though? Is the question, Matt? Would you jump into the future right now?
I think I would. If well, I don't want to say stuff, but yeah, I would just to get away from stuff, get away from people.
Yeah, get away from my job.
Yeah.
Dog. I'd bring people with me. Like,
Yes, I would bring people with me. I'll be like, oh, I can't live without you. You have to come with me. I don't care about you. You will come with me.
Yeah. Kicking and screaming for you to come with me. My dog's coming with, my cat's coming with, my wife, yeah, they're coming with, my computer, that's gonna happen.
Well, by that time
Crap,
there'll be a
super
better.
quick.
I'm saying by that time there'll be better computers.
Yeah. I know, what would I do? Okay, first thing I'd do, I'd buy a ton of stock in a company that I know is gonna be around 30 years. I accountant right here, this is
Yes.
what I'm thinking about. I'm buying a ton of stock.
So,
And then when
yeah.
I come back in 30 years, just like, how much can I make right now? Am I a millionaire yet?
Yeah, I was gonna say like that one episode from Futurama where he had, I don't know, 35 cents on his bank account. He comes back, he's a fucking millionaire.
He's got after like 1,000 years of compounded interest, 1 point something billion dollars. He's like, what? He blows it all on nothing.
Yep.
But same concept. It's just like, okay, you get 30 years like that. what's gonna change in your life? Like, what would you be sad to see going? Number one, that's what would kill me. Is like, I'm sad to see like these people don't exist anymore. I'm curious to see where music is. I'm curious
Yeah.
to see where the economy is. Does the United States of America still exist? You know,
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I said
billions.
I'd bring people that I do not want to see like die or pass or anything. I'll bring them with me for that space travel. That way they could be with me when I get back.
I know, but then it's like, okay, you have to think. You're gonna be traveling that quickly. What's what's like the maximum you could bring? Like, what if it was just you? What if you were the only one who could go?
Well, how many people are in what's it called, a spaceship
Uh,
when they go up to
five
like
or six.
yeah, so say five people. Let's see.
I'm gonna have friends competing to get on
Yeah,
that.
I'm like
Noah's
I
Ark
have
all over again,
I have
man.
like 10 people I wanted to bring now, and I'm stuck with only five. All right, rock paper scissors, guys.
I know. It's like Matt and the corgi are gonna be fighting it out
Yes.
in the corner, fight to the death over there. You know, my dog's already got one of these seats. My wife. You know? Who else? Who are the other three? Does the dog even count, or is he
I
like
don't-
in a carrier on the side?
I think he would be considered as cargo.
Okay.
So you could bring another person.
Yeah, got a little corgi in the cargo carrier. You just, all right, so I back up. You know, okay, we got some people we can bring with. That would be nuts because, yeah, if you're going fast enough, time would move slower for you. So like, if you move, let's just say it's like 5 years in the future after going just light speed over and over and over again, everyone else is aged like 30 years. You've only aged 5. You're just like, whoa. Would you even stop there? Like, I feel like curiosity would totally. I'm one of those people where I'm like, what's this do? And I like curiosity.
Pushes a button.
kills the cat. Yeah, I push the button. I want to know what happens. So it's like, oh man, how far would I want to go in the future?
Honestly, that would be me too, pushing the button. I mean, like the button's not doing anything, and keep pushing it.
Stop! You're killing thousands of people. But no, like for real though, it's like 30 years or like 30 years into the future would be cool. But what about 100 years? You know?
At that point, like, I don't even think you'd be able to recognize it. Well, you would, but it'll be like, what happened 1,000 years before? Like, what did we have? We didn't have any vehicles. We weren't able to go up onto the moon or freaking anything. That we
Yeah,
just we
like
all that we just
1,000
did
years ago.
recently. Yeah, all that we did just recently. So yeah,
Let's not even go 1,000 years back. Let's go like 100 or 200 years ago. Like, the United States as a country really isn't that old. If you brought someone like, shoot, George Washington to the future, like you've seen that Family or Fairly Odd Parents episode where they bring George Washington to the future and he just like wigs out because he can't control. Like, that would be you.
yeah.
Because if technology advances so quickly, like, and it's exponentially increasing, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because 100 years ago, like, let's just look at, 1923. Damn, that was the Roaring 20s. Like, cars had
Yes.
just kind of become a thing.
It
Like,
was, was it cars? No, cars didn't become a thing until the 30s, 40s.
No, no, they're just because like
Yeah.
only the wealthy owned them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know when the Model T was like rolled out for mass production, but it's not like everyone was putting around in a Model T. Like, no.
Yeah, no.
Back then it was like $100, and $100 was like your yearly salary, so only the wealthy owned them.
Yep. Yeah, you had freaking stage coaches, freaking with freaking what's it called, horses, carrying
Yeah.
you everywhere. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That would be a big difference if someone came 100 years into the future, which is right now. They would see all these cars, freaking
Mhm.
airplanes, fucking flying. Be like, what the hell is that? We're being
Oh,
attacked.
yeah, planes. Yeah. No, planes would like they just see the mass amounts of cars, the availability of like food. Just the way we live is completely different. It would be so if put yourself in that position, your mind would blow up. Like you would
Yes.
probably have to see like 6 or 7 therapists just to understand what is happening.
Yes, because like there'll be a time. Well, for what's it called? For food, for produce.
Mm.
There, you would only be able to buy certain produce because of certain seasons. So if they would see something that shouldn't be there during that season, they'll be like, "What the hell? You guys are able to have this because you guys are freezing it." And freezing wasn't even a thing over in the past because they what's it called? They used what's it called? Dry. They dried their stuff in order to
Oh yeah,
preserve
they
it.
want to try. Yeah,
Yeah.
preserve it. Yeah, it's basically before preservatives too. Like, they didn't even have refrigerators.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They didn't have refrigerators, so they were like, how did you have this watermelon right now when it's not watermelon season?"
Right. They probably didn't even know what a watermelon was. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They probably like, yeah, they did not have the availability of stuff that we have today, and it's just like, what would change if we went ahead 100 years? What would change?
Yes.
Because unless medical science like really advances, I don't think we're seeing 21, 23. I don't think so. I mean, we could get lucky, but I think that's also the brilliance of that show Futurama. If anyone else went to the future and wound up where Fry did, they probably would have, their brain would have exploded. Fry's just so stupid. He did not he just kind of accepted it and like, okay, that was it.
Yeah. Which is funny because he didn't really time travel. He more what's it called? He got frozen.
Yeah, it's the cryo thing.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of time travel. It's kind of the same concept of like everyone else was dead.
Yes.
Like everything he knew didn't. It existed to an extent, but it wasn't like, my favorite Futurama episode is the one that always tears me up. I'm a dog lover. I'm sorry, I don't do cats. Cats not my thing.
Oh, I hate cats.
It's the one where they go to like the old New York and they find like the petrified corpse of his old dog. And then it like goes back on all the memories of that dog. I'm sitting there like bawling like a baby. But that's exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
So 100 years from now, I'm like, that's ridiculous. It's so weird to think about.
So time travel. Would you time travel?
Yes.
Yes.
If I could bring people with me, yes.
You see, I would not time travel
Am I
because
going forward or backward?
Well,
Forward or backward? Which one?
well, what would you want to go? Would you want to go forward or would you want to go backwards? Because
I want to go backwards.
yeah, because I would not go backwards for nothing. Because
I'd go back.
if you fuck something up in the past, the whole future changes.
Yeah, I'm stopping the Holocaust.
Yeah. You stop the yeah, you can. But you see,
no.
you stop the Holocaust, but now you bring a greater evil into the mix. Like,
Okay, Kanye. I'm joking. No, but think about it. You go back in time, like okay, I'm a nerd when it comes to finance and like the finance cycles and like accounting and all that. There's a reason my username's the accountant. No, I don't have an OnlyFans. Don't ask. Feet pics only. We'll talk about it later. But it's like if you go back in time, think about it. Like with the knowledge we have now, knowing what you know now, would you go back 10, 20 years ago?
I would not. Honestly, because
Why not?
I'm telling you that if you fuck up with time, it fucks everything up. Like, you will no longer be the person you were right now because of all the stuff that switches. Because it's like the little ripple effect. Like you change something, everything else changes.
All right.
You might not even be born. Yeah.
That's why I said 10 years ago. I'm
Yeah.
not going back to like stop my parents from making me. I kind of like existing.
Yeah.
But like go back. Let's go back 10 years. It's 2013. Would you go back 10 years and buy Bitcoin?
I would.
There you go. See, you time travel right there.
I would give myself the idea to put money into Bitcoin, but I would not time travel.
You start leaving little notes. To
Yes.
yourself. Bitcoin, just written.
But-
Why is this in my handwriting and under here?
Like, what's Bitcoin? And why do I keep seeing it to buy it?
Constantly going back in time to leave yourself more notes, like idiot Bitcoin, because you just keep going back to the future.
Yeah.
And nothing's changed. You're like, what the hell? Or like you go back in time and you wind up in jail because you did something very illegal.
Like, what the hell did I do? I have to go back in time now again. I have to fix it.
Yeah.
It's a, oh yeah, like this freaking. Let me see if I can put this up. I think I'm able to do this. But yeah. YouTube. Where is? It's what's it called? Family Guy episode.
Oh god. The newer or older one?
I think it's older.
Oh good. 'Cause no offense to the creators of Family Guy. It's like SpongeBob. There needs to come an end.
All right.
Please end.
Let me put in. See if I could add this. I should have done this in advance. Not screen capture. Display capture.
If I went back in time, would I meet my? Oh, that would be weird. Would you go meet yourself, or like spy on yourself?
I think I would. I'll be like, you dumbass, you're not supposed to be doing this.
Hey idiot, she doesn't like you.
Yeah.
I know how this ends. I am you from the future.
Yeah, I'm like, honestly, I wouldn't time travel, but I would try to repeat a certain situation over and over again. I guess that would be my what's it called? My like if I were to die, that's the whole.
That's what you want to relive.
Yeah, I would want to relive that over and over again.
Okay, that's another fun theory that we can talk about is, it's a trippy theory too. So, someone said this, it may have been something like from Creepypasta or like, just, and late nights on Reddit, you find those weird theories. The theory is that all of us have already died, we're just reliving our lives, like, you've seen the movie Inception, right?
Yes.
You know how every time they go deeper, like, if they go from the second level to the third level, like the second level is like super slow.
Yeah.
Like that's basically what we're in is some kind of inception. We're like we've already lived the life that we're living right now. We're just reliving it in our brains. Like our consciousness is reliving it over and over and over again. So like you're basically a prisoner, but because like the original us has already died, we're just in the process of dying in like world 1 and you're reliving your life in like you could be on world 32 right now, just reliving it for the 32nd time.
So yeah, okay, so I brought it up. I'm on YouTube if you want to look at the channel right now. This is what you reminded me while talking about time travel.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were just here. Wait! Who the devil are you? We're from the future. So are we. We're from the further future. We came to stop you. Why? What they did actually turns out to be damage-free. It's what you're about to do, stopping them, that causes
I fucked this up.
Oh, come on.
Now we have to go back.
Wait, stop! We're from the further future.
Just endlessly
What you
over
guys
and
do
over.
eventually
All
works
applies
out.
for me.
It's what you two are about to do that ruins everything. Stop! Don't do anything. Oh, for God's sake. We're from the further future. What these two do is
Wait,
fine.
you guys screwed
It's
up
what
more
you
than
two
you.
do
Stop.
that makes things worse. Stop! Wait!
Hold it.
Stop! Wait!
No! Hold it!
Stop!
I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just looking for the can.
Don't move!
Hold it! Freeze!
Stop! Wait!
No!
Oh, for God's sake, why? This is why! Don't move!
Hold it!
Freeze! Stop!
No!
Wait! Oh my God, what's that? I don't know what happened. This is life for some reason. Don't do whatever you're about to do.
God help us! This is no way to live! Wait! No! Don't do it!
All right, everybody, shut the hell up! All right, this is... All right, I can't follow what's going on anymore, and I'm assuming the rest of you can't either. So let's make this easy and take a vote. How many think we should prevent
Yeah.
9/11? Raise your hands.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I will not fuck with time travel going back in time. Don't fuck with time.
For my own personal gain, I would.
Yes.
You know, because you like, okay, so you sit there, you're like, I don't know. I mean, what if you could go back and like meet yourself and like tell yourself like, here's a timeline of things to do and like what date specifically, like, and it would change your life for the better. But you know, you're just like, it doesn't affect anything around you because, I mean.
Well, I guess I know. I guess I understand where you're coming from. Like, try to win the lotto.
Not even trying to win the lotto, but just like, you know, I mean, we all look back, like, even if you think you're the only one who does this, we all look back like, man, if I'd like bought Bitcoin in 2013, I'd be a multi-millionaire right now, and then I'd use that money to do X, Y, to Z, like, you know, pay off my parents' mortgage, you know, buy rental property, whatever you want to do. But like, you know, because we all think that way. But what if you actually had the chance to like tell your younger self, yourself 10 years ago, to do that?
No, yeah.
Because, you know, let's go back to black holes. Black holes are super massive. Like, if you look at the whole universe, and one, it's gonna hurt your head. Talk about that. Two, it's massive. Like, not to say you as a person aren't important, but you're just a teeny tiny speck compared to everything. Like, you are. I mean, even in comparison to the world, there's like what 7.5, 8 billion people on this earth.
Yeah.
Like. Not saying you're insignificant, but you're kind of like an ant in a colony.
I know I'll miss you.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here. Like, unless you're the queen, you know, Freddie Mercury, someone who actually did something great, you know.
Freaking cure cancer.
Yeah, like, unless you're someone who actually does something, like, great, when you die, there's only going to be, like, so many people that, you know, one, knew about you, two, it, like, affects you. And all that, like, what's that Disney, like, not to get into Disney too much, but the movie Coco, have you seen that one?
No, I have not seen Coco yet.
Yeah, so the whole premise is it's all about Dia de los Muertos, like one of the coolest holidays ever. But the little kid gets sucked into like the underworld, which, you know, that in itself is freaky and cool at the same time because all the people walking around are like the little skeletons from Dia de los Muertos. They're like really cool looking, but like. After a while, you know, there's the person disappears from the underworld because there's no one left on Earth to celebrate them on Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of the whole premise of the movie is they have to like, oh, I'm actually related to this person, so blah blah blah, whatever, you know. But you know, there's gonna come a time in history where like, unless you're like, you know, you've done something really great, really bad, you're in the history books somewhere. People won't think about you again. Like, it's just, you know, I don't know who my great-great-great-great-grandfather is. I really don't. And, like, Matt, you might, but, you know, if you went back and it's just, like, one little thing. You tell yourself to do one thing and then you come back and you're, like, you know, a millionaire now. Like, is it really going to change that much?
It will.
I mean, for you, but how about the people around you?
No, you see, I think it would because it all depends on what it is. I'm saying it has that ripple effect. It's like a butterfly effect. If you've changed something, something's going to go completely opposite for someone else. And yeah, it changes everything. Yeah, because say there's two, what's it called? I don't know, two sugar freaking packets. You weren't able to buy one of those sugar packets, but someone else was able to buy that sugar packet. Now that you went back in time in order to buy that sugar packet because you have enough money to buy that sugar packet, that person that was supposed to buy that sugar packet can no longer buy that sugar packet. So they have to go somewhere else to buy it, hence causing that domino effect because that person bought that. Now another person wasn't able to buy that.
We're talking like Bitcoin here, not sugar packets.
Well, no,
I get what you're saying.
Yes.
It's going to be like, you know, a chain of events is going to happen, but, you know, you also kind of put the fact that, like, what you do really affects other people that much. Like, is that the case here? Because, again, you're kind of just an ant in a colony. There's
Well-
so much money in the world and in the United States.
Okay,
let's
I guess-
just look at the money for a second.
All right, I guess I understand where you're coming from, but then you do become that asshole sometimes when you have all that money.
I guess that's true. I mean, yeah, money's just an amplification of your character.
Yeah.
So if you're an asshole without money, you're gonna be a bigger asshole with.
Yes.
So, so what's the accountant's advice? Don't be an asshole.
And if you're an asshole, be a nice asshole.
Or be a broke one. Yeah, be a broke asshole if you're an asshole. We don't need any more assholes with a ton of money because they're just assholes. But no, I would 100%, go back and I would leave like little hints and hope that I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah, because honestly, the inner me wants to say yes, I would go back and try to get money or try to do something differently. But the logical me would be like, no, you don't want to do that because, yeah, of course, you're going to fuck shit up.
I know. Well, the selfish me is like, yeah, let's do it. The unselfish, like, me is like, that's...
Yeah, because you're going to be like, what's worse that's going to happen? I'm just doing this one little thing.
Yeah, and then, it turns into like a cartoon scenario where
Yeah.
you're doing everything, you're just about to get back on the thing to go back to your normal time, and then you, step on a butterfly and you go back, and it's just like, whoops.
Dinosaurs start roaming the earth. Like,
Yeah.
how did this happen? What went wrong?
Yeah, what went wrong? And then, Stewie and Brian show up in a little, barber shop thing, and they puke. That was gross. But yeah, ugh. I hate that thought. Would you go into the future, though?
Yes. Now, future, of course, yeah, I would go into the future. I would like to see what it would be like. But I don't. I think that would be. That also has a double-sided coin to it, because now that you know how it is, you might be changing the future.
Yeah.
Because you
I mean-
already know how things are gonna be, and you're gonna try to make it happen, but because you're trying to, it's not gonna work out.
Yeah, but I guess the question then becomes so you show up in the future, right? You time travel.
Hmm.
What happens when you just show back up 50 years in the future? Is this are we assuming that time travel is something we know about and people do it every so, or is it you somehow figured it out and you just disappeared for 50 years?
So I don't think you would disappear. What were you?
Yeah,
Now-
that's the
now
question.
you're making
Would
me
there
think.
be two of you? Yeah,
Yeah,
would there be two of you?
I don't.
Would there be a really old 70, 80-year-old you, and then
Okay, so
30-year-old you now?
I would think that if you're going into the future, there wouldn't be a second you, because that you is the one that's time traveling to the future. But if you were to, of course, if you were to be going back in time, that person back in time wasn't able to go to the future because it didn't exist. So there would be two of you in the past, but not in the future.
Okay. So, yeah, but so then what happens if you just disappear for 50 years?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
You
that.
just don't show up to your job or hey, because I was thinking about it too. It's if you made investments and you're I'm gonna show up 50 years in the future, I'm gonna be rich. They're gonna assume you're dead.
Yes.
And they're gonna liquidate everything. So you're gonna have
Yes.
jack nothing when you get back.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna show up and they're gonna be like, who are you?
Yeah, that would be a trip too. Cause I'd be like,
Yeah, now you're in a lab underneath Area 51. There's an alien laying
all
next
right,
to you.
we're gonna have to
Yeah.
probe you.
Yeah, there's some probes coming out of every orifice. What? Is it really worth it? Ugh. See, that would be a trip right there because, if you didn't disappear and you went and there was a second you that's 80 years, 50 years older than you, then everything would probably be fine, but you'd also have to live with all the decisions that you didn't make, but you technically made.
Yeah. Yeah, then I'm thinking now.
Sorry.
Wow. Yeah, because you'd basically disappear.
Yeah. you wouldn't, as far as everyone's concerned, you didn't exist for 50 years.
Yeah, that's fuck mind blown.
Yeah. I mean, like, because everyone's like, oh yeah, I'd totally do it. I'd go to the. I'm like, why? Now that I'm thinking about it, like, I wouldn't want to go to the future at all. If anything, I'd want to go to the past and like maybe change some things here and there, like, meet myself and be like, this is a dream, invest in Bitcoin. But like, at the end of the day, you're like, if you go to the future, like, is it like Click, where he just goes on autopilot, he just like fast forwards through everything? Or is it like, and like, there's just like, I don't know how to put it. There's just like an autonomous him doing his thing, or is it now like you disappeared and you show back up? Are you like going into hiding now? Do you have to leave the country and like run away from the government trying to do tests on you?
I think at that point, I don't think they would, but if you did tell them that, oh yeah, I time traveled, this is my situation, then yeah, I think they would. They'll be like, oh,
yeah.
You need to come with us.
I mean, that's how you become famous, right
Yeah.
there. Like, teaching scientists how to time travel. You're like, all right, I just need a couple $1 million and, give me Heisenberg and we're good to go.
But do you think people have time traveled already? Because there's a lot of, I'm gonna say, photos supposedly of, they say, oh, this person time traveled because look at how he was dressed, and another one, oh, this guy was, they took a picture of him and it looks like he has a phone on him.
I think it's possible. I think if time travel ever became a thing, it'd be like aliens. They wouldn't release it it would not be something the public knows about for a very, very long time, if ever. Like, think of how crazy of a weapon time travel is if it got into the wrong hands. Like,
Yeah.
let's,
Well, it would fuck with the system. That's why I say don't fuck with the past.
I'm not fucking with, like, I'm not going back. I don't know if you ever played like the like Red Alert, like what were those, Command and Conquer games?
Yeah.
But like the whole premise of like Red Alert 2 was the Soviets go back in time to try and win the Cold War.
Yeah, and
so like if time travel wound up in the wrong, like, I'm not gonna go back. I'm not gonna go back and do something like ridiculous. Like, I'm not gonna go back and start a war. I'm not gonna go back and like try and stop a war either. I'm just, trying to go back and make some money. But then you get someone who's like, some kind of fanatic or something like that. Like,
yeah.
what happens if the sleeper agents living in Argentina got a hold of time travel and go back and like somehow win World War II? It becomes a
what if situation.
Yeah, it becomes
like
give this power to.
Yeah, like what's it called? There's a, what's it called? I think it's a Netflix series of what would happen if freaking the Nazis and freaking Japan won.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it's called The Man in the High Castle.
Okay, I need to watch that one then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, because everyone's like, oh, if Japan won and we were under Japan, I was like, no, this isn't the weeboo like Japan we have today.
No,
This is very
the reason the
very-
weeboos happened was because of what happened.
Yeah, that's them trying to distract you from the Imperial Japanese of 100 years ago. So, it's yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't, yeah,
The-
we might all be driving Porsches, but there might be a couple more tanks on the end of your streets.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think in Man in the High Castle, freaking Germany and Japan get into their own fight because they're fighting for land from the United States, because they really didn't divide it evenly.
I mean, we saw the same thing happen at the end of World War I, and I 100% believe that
Yeah.
if it had gone the other way, it would have been the other way too. It would not have
Yes.
gone well.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh god. Oh, that's weird to think about.
Yeah.
World War. If we were 100 years like in the past,
Yeah.
the Great War, because World War II hadn't happened. They didn't call
Yeah.
it World War One because they're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we're starting number two. It's like, no, they called it the Great War, but the Great War had just ended.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and there's ever a war I would not want to fight in or be a part of in anyway, that war right there. Nope. Hard pass, not a thing.
Yeah, because it was all trenches, and yeah, freaking hygiene was bad. Like people were not. There were more people dying from hygiene than they were dying from from actually bullets and anything in that nature.
Well, yeah, but think about it this way: like, what was the style of warfare before the Great War? It was everyone stand in a line.
Yeah.
You've got smooth bore rifles and try and hit the guy standing in the line across
Yeah.
from you. You're gonna have a grand old time.
Yep.
Great. You know,
And
whatever.
then-
That
and then,
happened.
and then the Gatling gun came out, and yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, and then they're like, you know, let's give you guys like repeater rifles or like carbines. Let's, you know, have artillery that instead of shooting a cannonball like straight,
Yep.
and it can only go like, you know, maybe a quarter mile. We can launch these things like 2 or 3 miles. Not only that, we figured out how to make mustard gas. So we're just gonna gas the other guys out. And by the way, everyone dig a hole.
Yep.
Oh, and instead of, you know, tactically fighting this, we're just gonna run face first at a bunch of machine guns. Yeah, this sounds like a great time.
Yep.
This is like Matt over here trying to tank a dungeon in WoW. It's just like face check, face
Yep.
check.
Face check. I love face checking things.
Yeah, you do. Oh god. For those of you who don't know, Matt plays in our D&D campaign too, and dude, it's a good thing he's a tanky character.
What's this? Oh.
I open the door and run in. Oh god,
Yeah.
here he
Hi
goes.
guys, it's me.
Yeah. I'm sitting there as like a druid trying to like keep his ass alive while trying to do some kind of support. It makes it fun, but it's like no.
Yeah, my favorite part was when I opened the door. I'm like, well, before I even opened the door, I'm like, is everybody ready? You guys, only one person responds to me like, I don't care. I'm opening the door.
Yeah, you just went anyway.
I'm going anyways, if you guys are ready or not.
It was wonderful. It was so good. I was dying.
Yeah, they're over there trying to get themselves ready. All right, I need to make sure that I have this up.
Yeah, we have a 33.33%. All right, boys, let's go. Leroy.
That's basically it.
Yeah, dude, he's our Leroy. You should name him.
I have to make it interesting because you guys are all serious and you need that little comedic,
Yeah,
comedic little lizard.
You're kobold, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's basically what you are. But yeah, I think time travel is to the past, maybe. To the future, to the past, as long as I can come back.
Yes.
If there's a
Of
return,
course.
I'm good. To the
Now-
future,
Now, if there was no return, would you? Where would you go if you would?
where would I go? See, okay, that's ooh. I mean, so like, let's just lay out some assumptions here, right? Time travel.
Yes, time travel.
Go back in time to wherever you want to go. But
You're stuck,
It-
like in freaking.
but yeah, you're stuck. You can't come back.
What's it called?
But what so basically this is the same thing as what we just talked about. You're showing up, and you just kind of pop out of the ether. Like you're just there now.
Mhm.
I don't know. I would probably pick. Definitely before the 2000s. I'd probably pick the 90s, like 1990.
Mhm.
Because let's just say I'm 30 years old in 1990.
Yeah,
I
and-
go back, like, you know, one, the government's, I mean, unless the government is really that good, computers are just becoming a thing. And, you know, with the knowledge we have now of a basic computer, we'd be like geniuses back then.
Yes. You see, I was gonna say that because with all the knowledge that you have, you would actually be able to do something with whenever time travel you want to do. But you also have to make sure that you have that specific craft that they would need for that time period.
Right. So, because what I would wind up doing if I went back in time, I've laid this out, Matt. You don't understand how much I think about this shit. I would be going back into time to like the 90s, and I would be, you know, again with the knowledge I have, because like the 90s was when the .com bubble was happening,
Yes.
and there was a ton of money to be made there. You know, I could seek out Mark Cuban. I could do so many
Yeah.
different things. but like I could invest in those companies with like
Yeah,
go
Yahoo.
get like Yahoo, you know, the Pets.com thing, but then pull all my money out before it crashed, so you know, kept it all.
Yes.
And then like once they put it all on like, you know, Apple or whatever, or just start buying land, you know, because at this point in time we know, assuming that what you're doing doesn't change much.
Well, at this point, it's not gonna matter because you're stuck there.
Yeah. So whatever, you just exist
Yeah,
there now. You're just making decisions. It's like the greatest insider trading scheme that they can't prove. Because if we're accusing you of insider trading, how? Because I time traveled? They just look at you like, what?
What's that?
Yeah. I mean, you mean like the movie we just saw in the theaters? You think? You like become the next Nostradamus and predict COVID and like nuts. But yeah, like, you know, I like there would be a corporation that's owned by me that just owns tons of land at this point, like, you know, because
Yeah,
I
you
would
would
go
already.
back and do that.
Yeah, I would say that the land that you would own would be the places that have high value, because you already know what's gonna be built there and what.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, you know, because it's like, if you already know things, you can go do, like, I assume someone who's, like, huge into construction would be like, okay, I know this is going to happen, and I know this is, like, the city to be in, because there's going to be tons of construction, and maybe go start their own construction business, and then, like, it blows up because they know how to get all the contracts and what these companies are looking for when they're looking for it. You know, it's like, if you went back and you were stuck there, and it didn't change anything, I mean, unless you did something really stupid, I think you would just, anyone would become like super wealthy, because, you know, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
But what would you do, Matt? What would you do if you went back, and where would you go to? Because I'd go to I'd go to 1990, like right then.
So, if I were to go back in time, I'd probably try to, well, because I'm not gonna be able to go back to my present time. Shoot, I don't want to go anywhere near the wars.
No.
Where would I want to go? Shit. I wouldn't mind going back to the Roman Greek period.
Why?
I don't know why, but that's the timeline I would want to go, because most of the people that were in that era, like, there was no cell phones, no nothing, and all those guys had those freaking what's it called, the bodies, freaking Greek gods.
Yeah.
So I would think that they had all this time to work on their bodies, because there wasn't really anything else to work on. That's
I guess that's true.
yeah. So yeah.
Alright, Spartacus.
But yeah, that's my what's it called? That's what I would be thinking. Like, I'd want to work where the not labor would be hard, but I'd be working, but I wouldn't be working my ass off.
I feel like there too, you could get away with just not. You could literally become a hermit and no one would care.
Yeah.
The only issue I would have with going back at that time would be, number one, there like were no rules back then.
Yeah.
People just did whatever. They killed you because they felt like it.
They made their own rules.
Yeah, they literally made them like the Romans ruled over. I was like, yeah, but no. Also the language, that would be tough.
Yeah. That is true. I wouldn't know their language.
Yeah,
So yeah,
'cause
so
like, I mean, unless you took
Latin.
Latin.
Yeah, Latin.
Which
Which I'm trying to learn too.
you, Matt, you think I'm bilingual person. I speak Spanish.
Well,
German,
yeah, I'm learning German. I'm still like a preschooler in German. I know I could get by with Japanese. Like, I could understand it, but I really can't speak it. And yeah, Latin.
And Latin, okay. Yeah. I mean, if you knew Latin, I think you'd be good enough to get by. because it'll allow you to pick up on it. Because
Yeah,
it'd
and-
be a different dialect.
Yeah, as long as I understand it, because I know that some people, it was only the rich that knew how to write it
Yeah.
because of their education system.
Oh well, it was mainly because it's like make sure the peasants can't read and write, and then
Yeah.
they can't revolt or
Yep.
like, organized. So yeah, if you could do that, you'd already be in one of the elite. I feel like, yeah, I think that would be a fun place to go back to as well, especially like if you had some kind of military training.
Yes.
And like you could just become like a general.
Yeah, no, and honestly, that's in my head, in my whole system. Like, oh, I know how to do things military related, so I'd be able to get away with all this stuff. I know how to sneak into places without you noticing where I'm at.
I know how to drive a car. Oh wait, chariot.
Yeah. Anti-evasive driving chariot.
Yeah, that would be. It'd be cool. It'd be much simpler. I mean, would you miss technology?
Not really. I really don't use technology like everybody else. I'm not on my phone like 24/7 trying to see what's going on.
You're on your computer 24/7.
Well, I am on my computer, but that's because I'm with you guys.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We're huge nerds. But I think the thing that I'm getting at though is like even though you're not on your phone, if you brought someone back from the Roman era, like even someone who is like the most highly educated person, and held out your phone, just this brick that like lights up. Number one, they probably want to kill you because they think you're a witch or something like
Yep.
that. Instead, I can access all of the world's knowledge with this. Like you don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And like even computers, like you don't have a computer anymore. Oh god, that'd be so creepy. Just like not having the like. I was at breakfast with my wife this morning, and we're like, we see a new store pop up, and we're like, oh, what is that? We pull out our phone and Google it, and it's right there. We know what it is. Like, where, before phones, not even before phones, before the iPhone and like Android, where you had like universal access to the internet, you like walked over there, like creepily peeked through the window, like, what's in here? And you're just like trying to figure out like, what do they do? What is that? Or you hear it from a friend, like word of mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting because I think the only time I do use what's it called, my phone, is when I'm driving because I don't want to get lost. So
You get lost quickly.
I will get lost over there really quickly if I'm going to a different what is it? What do they call it? Villages?
Yeah.
Yeah. I will for sure get lost.
Yeah, but it's just like you go back in time to the Roman era. I open up like a textbook for like my like kid one day. It's like Emperor Matt Styles. I'm like, well, good for him, I guess.
He did it.
I guess he did it. Won all these battles. It's like, all right, cool. It's like playing Rome Total War.
Yes.
Like, your General Matt Styles running around. That'd be so funny.
I don't know how he knew all these tactics.
Yeah,
He was
I don't know how he
unstoppable.
I mean, if you think about it too, like if you were actually that good and you knew what you knew, you could potentially have stopped the Roman Empire from falling apart.
I would. I think 100% I would be able to.
You're like,
I would do it.
From happening. This is a deal. Like, give me. I am.
Give me
Emperor
the throne.
Matt
Give me
Styles.
the throne. I will stop this at all costs.
Bring my gladiators to me.
You see, and I don't want to say this freaking to
Say it.
throw off people, like, but
it.
the mafia said it really good. Is you don't need a whole empire to rule the world. You just need three badass motherfuckers, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they actually say that, or is that a TV thing?
No, it's an actual thing that they actually said it, and the TV got it from an actual mafia guy. I forgot who it was that they got it from. But yeah,
See that? You could also just become a crime family.
yeah.
You just start a crime
Frickin'
family in like,
thieves.
ancient Rome.
Well, they
Yeah.
were called thieves.
Whatever.
The
The original mafia was started by Matt Styles. in
frick-
the Roman era,
no,
and
no.
just continued on.
I would start the Assassin's Creed.
Oh yes. Okay, yeah, we're figuring out time travel and sending you back. Man. As much as I love Ezio, but you know, I'd want to play as Matt Styles.
Yes, I will. It's no longer Ezio. It's Matt Styles. I changed.
In
I
the
changed.
Roman.
Yeah, in the Roman.
And the games are a million times better after like the first 3.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
Black Flag one would be interesting. That would
Ooh,
be-
I hate ships. I hated ships playing the game because it was so
Oh,
hard to.
see, that was-
It was so hard to maneuver the ships.
Oh, I guess that's true. I mean,
Yeah,
they
but-
weren't- once you upgraded the ship all the way, it was easy.
So in Odyssey, it was a lot better, but the first Black Flag, yeah, it sucked. I stopped playing it because of the ships.
Oh, okay. See, I played it because I was like, I can be a pirate, and I'm like sitting there playing
Yeah.
pirates, you know, just
No, but-
enjoying myself playing the game.
No, but yeah, Odyssey, I love the whole pirate freaking ship thing and upgrading everything. I actually had fun. And at one point, I was like, this is too easy now. At first, it was so
Yeah.
hard for me to control it, and then now it's like, oh shoot, this is so easy. I'm able to freaking kill these 3 pirate ships in like less than 2 minutes.
See, that was me too. It was like I actually restarted Black Flag because I spent so much time upgrading my ship that by the time I was like, yeah, I'm still at the beginning parts of the game, and I've upgraded the ship all. Like, I can't do anything else to the ship right now besides maybe change its color.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this is kind of boring. So I like mapped it out how I was gonna do it. I was like, oh no, it's like, but sometimes that can like actually be advantageous. Like in Dragonflight right now, go around, upgrade your dragon as best like as much as you can. If you can fill up the talent tree first, do it.
Yes.
Because if you don't, it's gonna make your life a living hell for until you do.
All right, I think we've gone a array too far, so I think we should end this this little podcast.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because we're
blast.
I'm having a blast too, but we got off topic already. We could still talk about this after the stream. But yeah.
I mean, I told you we were gonna get to time travel, and that's where it's gonna.
Yeah, no, and it's true. With time travel, it's yeah. There
I mean, but there's so many possibilities.
yes, no, but for sure, I think I will do another session of this podcast because there is still more stuff that we barely touched the surface of time travel and freaking black
Oh,
holes.
man.
Yeah.
We gotta bring the corgi on here with us.
Oh,
For the
yeah,
time
no.
travel one, 'cause I want to know where that guy would.
Yes, I do want to know where he would want to go.
I want to know where my brother would go. Because knowing my brother, it's gonna be something ridiculous, and you're gonna be sitting there.
I'll be like, I thought you were
can
gonna
we-
go.
Can we put this on YouTube? Like, is this okay?
Like, hold on. What are you gonna say first before we even start this podcast?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're gonna have to do a test run to make sure it's like, you know, good, not gonna offend too many people.
But yeah, guys, I'm Matt Styles, and this was the accountant. We talked about freaking time travel, black holes, and everything. But and yeah,